Hi, I'm Ben Gonzalez, and this is TDI. Well, whenever temperatures get below freezing for an extended period of time, you have to think about protecting your pipes. And joining us today is Dave Yelovic. He's a home builder and also a member of the Texas State Board of Plumbing Examiners. He's going to give us some tips about protecting your pipes.
Well, great, Ben. It's great to be here.
Well, is there anything we can do ahead of time before cold weather comes that'll give us an edge?
That's a great question. Don't when the weatherman says tonight, hey, it's going to be cold tonight, you're too late. So, get out in the fall and prepare your house. And we're going to go through a few tips on how to do that. If you've got pipes, I say start from the top down.
Okay.
Start up in your attic. The number one place last winter where pipes froze was in the attic. And if you go up into your attic and you see exposed pipes, then I would recommend everybody go out to the big box store, buy yourself a handful of pipe insulation, and just go up. And it's very simple. It's a easy do-it-yourselfer stuff. You just unfold it, wrap it around the pipes, take this off, and it'll stick together. And this will give pipe insulation doesn't guarantee it won't freeze up there. It just slows down the process. It's insulation. It's like putting a jacket over your pipes.
Right.
So look for pipes that are exposed in your attic, and then work your way down in the house, and we'll see some other things that could freeze. But number one, check your attic.
And now, one of the problems that we saw during the big Winter Storm Uri was that people lost power for days on end. It's kind of difficult to protect the pipes when there's no heat in the house, right?
Yeah, it's let's say two scenarios. I guess a good scenario would be you have power and you have heat. It's just going to get really cold. So what can I do? And that's one scenario we can cover. But then if the worst case scenario, if the power goes out, it's below freezing, eventually everything's going to get cold. There is no radiant heat from the heater inside warming up the pipes. So if that happens, then do all you can to keep things warm. If you have a fireplace, get a nice cozy fire going. Warm up the house as best you can. Don't go in and out of the doors a lot, the outside doors. Keep the warm air in. If you have a slab house, like where we're standing in front, the slab during the winter, it absorbs heat. So if the power goes out, the heat, that slab will radiate heat for a number of days, for the most part. So that'll keep your house
better than ambient.
Yeah, well, it'd be about 50 degrees in your house just with the heat from the slab. But yes, over time, everything gets cold and below freezing, especially the walls on the outside. If you have exterior walls, that's where we're going to focus. What can I do? Because that's usually where besides your attic, the exterior walls are where the pipes will freeze in the future.
Another thing we always heard during freezing conditions was go ahead and drip your faucets a little bit, especially the ones on the outside walls. But then we got some conflicting information later on when people started running low on water. So what's your best advice for the individual homeowner?
I'll stay out of the global argument, but it's the idea of dripping your faucet, you want to keep them from freezing. So if every now and then, I think if we're in an extended period of freezing, having your faucets run a long time will deplete the water supply, especially in any good city. So just periodically open the faucets, especially the hot water, turn those on, get some warm water circulating, and then the same thing with the cold water pipes, and then let them off. Go to bed. Before you go to bed, circulate some water. Do that all around the house, all your bathrooms, your faucets, your commodes. That way the water will be moving in all the pipes.
What about the outside faucets? What can we do about those?
Well,
you wouldn't want to drip those.
Yeah, you don't want to drip those, but those are the most prone to freezing, obviously, because they're outside. And I've got a number of these on this is my best protection, and you can pick these up at a big box store anywhere. They're $3 to $5 a piece, and all you do is you hook this end around the handle of your hose bib, you pull it tight, and then you just lock it in place. And it's got a nice styrofoam insulation box around it, and it protects it from the cold. And you want to go around all your exterior faucets something like this. Now, if maybe they're all sold out of these, and you panic and say, what can I do? Any type of insulation around your hose bibs will help. I remember I used to just don't tell my wife, but took the beach towels or the bath towels and I just wrapped them around the outside faucets, and I put some duct tape around them until the cold passed, and that creates a blanket around your hose bib. And so that's all we're trying to do. And then the ones that are on the exterior walls will hopefully stay warm because the warmth from the house will be passing through that wall, keeping this little dome above freezing.
Okay. And then another thing we wanted to ask you about was sprinkler systems. If you have an underground sprinkler system, do you need to drain it before the freeze, or what should you do?
Again, kind of like a hose bib, an exterior faucet, a sprinkler system for folks' yards like this one here. This one is an in-ground system where everything is down here. Now, the good thing about this is it's in the ground. The ground, again, the dirt will not get to 32 degrees below real fast. It'll take days for that to happen. So the earth will radiate heat into these pipes, and that helps it. But sometimes we have these pipes coming up next to the house, and it's exposed to freezing. You want to make sure they're insulated. And then, yes, this one I can tell the valve is off, and you want to shut it down and drain it as best you can. Can you get all the water out of it? No, but you can get most of it out, which gives it room to expand if it does freeze.
So that's what cracks the pipes, is when the water is full in there and it expands and there's nowhere for it to go.
Right. If you've got full pipes, it's like making ice cubes. You know, the ice cubes expand in the little tray. Same thing with water in a pipe. It's going to freeze and expand, and that's where it breaks.
So if you can get it to half that or a quarter of that, you're doing good.
You give it a little room to move around in there.
At what point, though, should we just consider turning off the whole water to our house?
That's a really good question. Again, some people may not, they may not have any way of doing all these little things. Maybe they have exposed pipes in the attic and they can't get to them to wrap them in insulation. So your best bet at any time, if you're questioning, hey, what if? Go outside, find the main water shutoff, and turn off the water to your house. Once you shut off the water, then you go around the house, open up the hose bibs on the outside, let the water drain out of those. Go inside to your faucets, let the water drain out of those, and then pray for the best.
That's a step that I guess I hadn't heard either. Once you turn off the water, you also want to turn on the faucets to kind of let the water that's in the system come out.
Kind of like we were saying, especially on the outside faucets, because there is a little bit of water right there toward the end. And again, we're getting some air into the system. We're letting the water out as best we can, creating some room in those pipes. So if there is some movement of ice, it'll have room and it's not filled with water.
Where would most homeowners find their main cutoff valve?
Well, it varies per house, obviously, but if you're attached to municipal water, whether it's city water or mud district water, you have a water meter out near the curb, usually out near the street.
Like this one here.
And it's usually in a box. The box could be concrete, the box could be plastic, but like this one is very typical of a subdivision. And we'll go in here, and when you lift it up, in this case we have 2 water meters in this box. We have one, and then one goes off to the neighbor. You may just have your own, but for the most part they tend to be economical and put 2. But here in this setup, you'll always have on this side where the water comes in from the city main, there's a valve right here. There's actually a little arrow. That means it's pointed to the pipe. It means the water is open. The valve is open and it's going to the house. Then that's the city main. They're the ones that usually, that's how they could turn off the water to your house. Then the water will go through the pipe, and then somewhere between the meter and the house will be another shutoff. That's your shutoff as the homeowner. In this case, the builder, whoever did these homes, right past the meter box, he came in and he put a valve down here, I'm guessing underneath all those leaves. And so I'm going to reach in here, no spiders I'm hoping, and sure enough, there's a family of toads. So rather than disturb them, I'll open this one. Oh, this one's nice and clean, but you can see it's just another valve down there. Now, I could reach in there.
Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey here?
Yeah, if you go down there. Now some haven't been moved for years, so you might have to get something so you're going to get a little leverage on it. So you would reach down there and usually just turn it 90 degrees and that's off. And then you go over to the house, start opening stuff up and draining the water out.
Is that something we should practice as homeowners, to at least know where it is and try it out?
That's a great point, yeah. Being proactive, just like wrapping your pipes, getting familiar with where your valves are and knowing how to shut them off. Are they movable? Am I going to need a wrench to do them? And if so, what kind of wrench? Do you have one in your garage? Yeah. So get familiar with that and practice. Maybe even tonight after watching this video, say, hey, let's go out and see where all this stuff is.
Not when it's covered with ice and snow.
Or when it's raining. It's just in an emergency, everything
It's better to know ahead of time in all these situations. For people that rent like condos or apartments, do they have some kind of shut-off valves as well?
Every fixture in your house, like in your master vanity or your hall bath, your sink is up here. Underneath your sinks are shutoffs. They'll come out of the wall, and then there's a shutoff, and then it comes up and it feeds the hot and cold into your faucets. Those shutoffs down there shut off the water really just below the sink. So it's not that useful because we're trying to get into the walls. Again, depending how they are. So that's more for the
property manager at that point.
Again, property managers if it's a big, large apartment building. But if you've got townhomes where it's literally just houses similar to this, they probably have a meter like this, and they can shut it down and do kind of what we've been talking about. But again, get familiar with your home and your structure before the icy weather comes.
Well, thanks for doing this. I mean, if you get to a point where you find out that, yes, my pipes are actually frozen at this point, should you try to defrost those or work to heat those up?
No, we're in Texas, and I guarantee the pipes will thaw eventually. Even if you've taken the proper precautions we've talked about, water could be trapped in a pipe and it could freeze and expand and break a pipe, and you'll only know it when you turn the water back on. So you want to shut off the water, and after the freeze goes by, let Mother Nature warm up your house, turn on the heat if you've been out of power, and then turn the water back on, and if everything's working fine, you've made it through another storm.
Thanks, Dave. I really appreciate your time today.
Great, Ben. Thanks.
If you have a problem with your home and you need to file an insurance claim, we've got tips on our website to make that process as smooth as possible. You can visit our website. It's tdi.texas.gov, or if you have a question that you can't find an answer to, you can always call our helpline. That's 800-252-3439. So for Dave Yelovic, I'm Ben Gonzalez. This is TDI.